Welcome to the demonstration for the long-tail cast-on. To begin this cast-on, pull out a length of yarn that is sufficient enough to give you your desired stitch count. Lay the yarn over the needle with the tail in front. Using your thumb and first finger, place them in between the two strands of yarn. With your needle, go underneath the thread that is around your thumb and back behind the yarn that is around your finger. You go under, around the back, and through, and that's how you form a stitch. Again, under, around the back, and through. You do this action until you have the total number of stitches required for your project. The right side is the side that's facing you once you're complete. The wrong side, the back side, will have purls along the bottom edge. A lot of people have asked me about how I knit. I am a continental knitter. I hold the yarn in my left hand and I use the tip of my right needle to pick the yarn to pull it through the knit stitch. So I thought I'd just include this little video of knitting. I hold the yarn the same way that I do when I crochet. So I have a very loose hold on it, but it works for me. When I purl, I hold the yarn the same way, and I hold it in front to the left of the needle, and I kind of push down with my fingers that are holding the working yarn and then pull it back through to create the purl. Typically knit and purl a lot faster than I'm doing in the video, but you get on camera, you get a little nervous. When reading the chart for the block blanket, we're knitting flat. Odd rows are on the right, and you read those from right to left. Even rows are on the left, and you read those from left to right. Again, this is for flat knitting on the block blanket for BrownieKnits. At certain points in the block blanket, you'll be asked to do knitting through the back loop. You insert your right tip needle into the back of the stitch on the left hand needle. So for those who hold the yarn in your right hand, you insert the needle, wrap it around, and pull it back through. Again, in through the back, wrap it around, pull it through where you inserted the needle. For continental knitters, in through the back, pick it around, through. This is called knitting through the back loop. You will also be asked to create yarn overs. For continental knitters, you do this by simply laying the yarn over the right hand needle and then knitting on. This will create an eyelet. For English style knitters, you will wrap the yarn around the tip of your right needle and then knit on like normal. This also will create an eyelet. Yarn overs are commonly used in lace knitting and are often paired with decreases to keep your stitch count the same, unless you're working on a shawl. In that case, you might need to be increasing, and so it can be used as an increase as well. A very common decrease is knitting two together, and this is done very simply by knitting the next two live stitches on your left-hand needle together as one. Here it is demonstrated continental, and now English style with the yarn in my right hand. Knit two together is commonly abbreviated as K2tog. A common increase that you will need for the block blanket is knit through the front and back. I'll first show this continental. You go into the stitch through the front like normal, but do not drop the stitch off the left-hand needle. Instead, go into the back of the stitch and wrap it around and pull it through and then drop it off. This creates 2 stitches out of 1. You end up with a knit stitch next to a purl stitch. And now English, into the front, pull through, but do not drop off, bring around to the back, wrap around, pull through, and drop off. A knit next to a purl. One more time. Around, through but not off, to the back, around, through, and off the needle. Next we'll do a slip 1, knit 2 together, pass, slip stitch over. This is a double decrease where you go from 3 stitches to 1. First, insert your right needle knitwise into your first stitch. Slip it from one needle to the other, knit 2 stitches together, and then using your left needle, lift your slip stitch up and over the stitch from your knit 2 together. Slip knitwise, knit 2 together, and pull the slip stitch up and over your knit 2 together stitch. From 3 stitches, we now have just 1. I like to pull down on my work a little bit after I slip the stitch over to just provide a neater piece of work. Now we're going to slip, slip, knit, which is abbreviated as SSK. I like to slip 1 knitwise, slip 1 purlwise, and then knit them together. A traditional SSK, you slip both stitches knitwise and then knit them together. I find that slipping the first one knitwise and the second one purlwise and then knitting them together gives you a flatter piece of work, and it better mimics a knit 2 together decrease. So if you're trying to do mirrored decreases, an SSK with the second one slipped purlwise will give you that effect. There are some blocks where I will say to use a traditional slip, slips, knit, where you will slip both of them knitwise.